reporting to you with no bias, informing you with no exceptions. Nothing but the facts. Let's get the truth together. We the people. We the voice. We are the news now.
So, yeah, guys, I've just been chatting with my friend Alien Addict. This is where it's quite embarrassing, actually. But I'm one of these people, I'm just, well, what you see is what you get. Dude, I can't remember your name.
Ollie.
I'm really... Ollie! Oh. I would have got it wrong. I've got to say...
Americans can't say it. They just... when Americans say, Ollie, it sounds really strange.
Is that with an A and an R? Arlie? Yeah, so I'm with Ollie, Alien Addict, man, and we've been chatting to each other, haven't we, for a little while now.
Just done an interview.
We've just done our first. Well, it's technically our second interview because last week we did an interview, but it didn't. You know what Skype's like and computers, and so Ollie's just reconditioned his 7-year-old Mac, and it decided to not quite work properly, and it wasn't recording through the microphone or something, wasn't it? But anyway, we've just redone the interview, and I've asked actually if Ollie minds just sort of chiming in on what we're talking about, because what me and Ollie have been talking about is UFOs and if the Earth is flat and stuff like that. What we're talking about here is more sort of actual current events. What's going on with the leadership that's in place, with the Q movement, with the coronavirus, all of these things. And what I wanted to do, Ollie, was just get your take as a YouTube creator that's not involved in that side of things at all. You're on the, you're an alien addict. You're looking at the phenomenon of UFOs and the possibility of aliens that maybe come from other planets or other realms.
I'll just quickly just tell you something on that, Rich, which I don't really say much on my channel, but I don't mind if anybody from my channel finds this out. I don't necessarily think it's alien, as in out there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You're open to the possibility that they've always been here, or that they're part of a bit of land or something that we don't know about. Possibility of.
Do I think they look like this? Quite possibly, because that's only from dreams and things like that.
Dude, listen, I'm not being funny. Just put that up again. Put him up again. Yeah. I mean, if I was to shave the beard off, yeah, I look a bit like an alien, do I not? I think
we all do.
You see what's going on with the coronavirus right now, yeah?
Well, it's hard to escape it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Do you believe? What you're hearing on mainstream news?
Well, put it this way, you couldn't put me into a room and say that all these people have the coronavirus. I wouldn't step in that room. Does that mean to say that I think that a lot of it is being forced on us? I've heard rumors that, it could be population control. I'd like to think we don't live in a world where that sort of stuff goes on.
Fortunately, we live in a world where Hillary Clinton exists, so...
I don't believe anything that happens on mainstream news, if I'm honest. Well, I mean, if I'm honest, Rich, I don't really follow politics. And there's a reason behind that. It makes me depressed. So when I stopped driving to work and I started to walk to work, I just started to listen to music. But when I was driving to work, for some reason, I'd find myself listening to the news on the radio. And I'd find myself getting into this like deep depression because of what was going on in the world. So when I hear about any sort of disease or anything that's going on, whether it's terror, global terror, diseases, this, that, and the other, I always think maybe there is an agenda behind this. Maybe somebody's maybe somebody's literally conducting at the top of that triangle,
That's good. That's good to hear,
dictating
man.
the way this, you know. Do I think we have control over our own lives? No, not at all. I would hope that this virus thing is just something that has come from bats. Do I think that? I lead more towards no. I don't think that. I think a lot of diseases are probably created in the first place, and people have made many diseases.
You know what this is?
Um,
The AMA Encyclopedia of Medicine, the American Medical Association's Encyclopedia of Medicine. Yeah.
okay, I've heard of it.
This particular copy was printed in 1989. This is a screenshot from the video leafing through this book. All right. This was printed in 1989.
Uh-huh.
This is the page on viruses.
I'm struggling to see that, Rich, but I'll take your word for whatever it says. It's not your phone. It's the pixelation.
Ah, okay. What it says, I'll send you the pictures. I'll send them to you. It states that the coronaviruses, because there's more than one coronavirus, they are coronaviruses, are the common cold. And they always have been the common cold. When you get the common cold, what you call is a mutation of the coronavirus. The coronavirus was a really interesting thing for the bio weapons engineers and that, because it mutates as soon as it goes into a human host. It mutates, and then the one that they pass on is not the one that they caught.
Okay, so you could catch it again because it's a different strain.
Or no, no. Well, you catch the virus, you pass it on, but your antibodies then become immune to that strain of virus. So if you give a cold to somebody, you won't catch it back off them. So
yeah,
if you sat
I understand
in the house, can't keep catching the same cold and getting sick. Eventually, once you both caught that cold, you're both immune to that cold for the rest of your life, right? But it mutates. This coronavirus constantly mutates, so there's always some form of the common cold going around.
So does that mean to say you're in a room of 5 people, yeah, and you give this coronavirus to the first person, yeah, the first person gives it to the second person gives it to the third person.
But at the time it gets to the 5th person, it could have mutated.
So the 5th person could give it back to you again in a different form. So basically you could,
depending on incubation of the the time scales and everything, then yeah, theoretically, I'm not a medical doctor, man. This is my thinking. I am a fairly intelligent guy. I've got quite a high IQ. I am able to think independently and critically and use discernment. And I don't fully understand viruses and the coronavirus and medical jargon, but I've always understood ever since I was a kid that the common cold comes in so many different forms that you can catch it and you become immune to it, but you're only immune to that particular one strain of it, and that's why you can always catch the common cold again. It's just not the same one that you had last time. The symptoms are the same. Maybe one's worse than another. Maybe you feel worse with this one. This one's more of a head cold, and the other one's more on your chest, goes onto your chest.
Yeah.
So Wuhan, where this whole thing originated, has 2 bioweapons medical research facilities. 2. not one, two. What they've done is they've weaponized one strain of the common cold. They've called it COVID-19. And it's being used, this whole thing, in our opinion, is being used as a front for something else. And a virus is being tackled right now, and it's a virus in the people that are controlling us. And the people that are controlling us could be considered the crown. Corona. So everything's a play on words. Everything that happens, especially in the media, is a play on words, and there's a hidden meaning behind it. Our English language was created by Freemasons. It was designed. Our English language was completely designed and engineered. The whole fact, the number of letters in our alphabet. They've not given us enough letters, or they've given us too many, or something. There should only be 23, and there's 26 or so. They've done something with the number of letters that we've got. The design of the letters, the design for each letter, that's all completely based in runes and ancient script. The design of ancient scripture and runes and stuff. It's all got a hidden meaning behind every single letter has got a hidden meaning behind it. So it's a really easy one for them to put out, because they can say you've got symptoms, cold and flu symptoms. It's the coronavirus. It's all totally legitimate. Yes, you've got symptoms of the coronavirus. There's hundreds and thousands of people on this earth right now with symptoms of the coronavirus because they have the coronavirus, one particular strain of.
So you're saying that if, for example, say there was, I don't know, a hospital that had people that were in on this conspiracy, yeah?
I mean, everything's a conspiracy, dude.
Yeah,
that's talking now.
It is. But say they're in on it, yeah? You go to the doctors and you do just have a cold. Yep. Are you saying you could walk out of there and then say, we're going to have to quarantine you because you've got the coronavirus?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to go in with sniffles and you've got sniffles and a cough and maybe a little fever. You've only got a common cold. There's nothing wrong. You're going to be right in a few days if you drink lots of vitamin C and you eat lots of vegetables and lots of fruit, and you're going to be fine in a few days' time.
See, but I've never.
They can legitimately say this is the coronavirus. You need to be quarantined. You might die.
It's funny you should. I saw something pop up on my news feed on YouTube the other day. And I've not even been researching this coronavirus that much, to be honest with you. But this morning, video came up, and it was this guy, and he had no limbs, and his mouth looked like it'd been replaced. And I thought, what is this? Is this some sort of tragic story, a recovery story? And I like a good recovery story. Somebody who's been through the wars and they pull through and they get themselves back on their feet. I like that. So I clicked on it. And this was all about this guy getting the flu. And him saying if he'd have gone to the doctors quicker, this would not have happened. This mutation happened, and his body got, I think it was sepsis or something like that. And I thought, oh my God, because I never go to I would say I never go to the toilet then. I never go to the doctors for a cold or flu. I never do, because it's cold or flu. My body it'll get over it. I'll have a honey and lemon drink, and
This morning they're excellent fearmongers. They're really good at playing on people's fears. They love to do it, and anything that they portray in that sense, we actually don't know what that sickness was. That guy doesn't know what that sickness was. Nobody knows what that sickness was.
Yeah, but
If
this guy and his
the
family was telling the truth. You know,
yeah,
he'd
if
been
he'd gone,
through a horrible situation.
but if he'd gone to the doctor sooner, they might not have caught it in time. You know, it's all speculation of if the ifs and but what ifs. If this had happened, if that had happened, but the trouble is that's not what happened. What happened is what happened, and what happened is tragic. But
No, I just thought it was weird that this popped up
not,
on my news feed.
yeah, going to the doctor might not have saved him. Though. He thinks it would have done because he has faith in doctors. But your general practitioner is one of the most dangerous people to go and visit because they're a general practitioner. They're an expert in nothing. They've skimmed over the top of everything, and if you don't tick certain boxes, you have to tick boxes. You have to tick. You have to go. You have to. If you don't have these boxes ticked, you don't get these things. And all these things it's all out of the book. There's no independent thinking happens with doctors. There's no critical independent thinking. Everything's referred back to what they're told to say and what they're told to do.
Oh yeah,
Guessing.
I mean,
You're better off going to a witch doctor. I swear to God, you're better off going to a witch doctor. You are better off going to a natural or white witch healing herb therapist, homeopathic. You know, 9 times out of 10, all you need to do is uptake your vitamin input and your water. Just drink water and actual real water, not the stuff that comes out of the tap. Definitely stay as far away from that as you possibly can. Tap water. Try and drink distilled water. Nothing but distilled water. What they said about distilled water taking your nutrients, taking the stuff out of you, it's the biggest load of rubbish that's ever been. Well, no, it's not the biggest load of rubbish ever been concocted, but it's a load of rubbish, man. Do you think that 100 years ago, before we were able to ever put chemicals into water, what do you think we were drinking? Or actually, it was probably longer than 100 years ago.
when you say drink distilled water, yeah, are you saying so? This water here, yeah.
Drink and distill all of your water.
So you can drink tap water, you're saying, but you've got to filter it.
No, you've got to distill it. Don't filter it, distill it. It's different. You can't filter fluoride out of water, but you can distill it out.
So you're saying still you don't have to buy bottles because how would I know that buying a bottle of water is not?
You fill up. You get a whatever 200 litre, 100 litre bottle, whatever. You get your thing of water, distill it, whatever it is, 100 milliliters of water will distill into 100 milliliters of distilled water. You let it cool, you drink that. Well, you don't even need to let it cool, do you? Because it cools as it's going. The whole point of it is it's cooling as it's going through the pipe and popping out the other side. But I mean, you let it cool and you keep it in glass. You keep it in a glass container, not a plastic container.
So do you distill all your own water?
Oh, what, dude? I don't. I'm not doing it yet. I haven't been able to buy. I can't buy a distiller. I don't have the money to buy a distiller. I have the ingenuity to make a distiller. It's just the gumption and get up and go to actually get off my ass, go down the hardware store, buy what I need, come back. There's some extra tool. I need a soldering iron. I need I need these things to be able to make it. So it's just the question is all that out and sorting all that out. If I had the money, if somebody made a big enough donation to my PayPal, I could buy one online. Somebody made a big enough donation to my PayPal. About £100 a pound. Around £100. Oh, I am going to get one this year, dude. I will be drinking distilled water this year. From this year, I'm going to start drinking because I live next to the ocean, man. All I've got to do is distill salt water. So, dude, listen, because we've digressed. Just quickly, what are your thoughts about the coronavirus? Do you believe you don't believe what you're being told. You believe that it could be something that you did believe that it could be something that had come from a natural thing that had developed from eating bats or something. You did believe it to be true.
I told you briefly about my friend messaging me from China, and he said that that the death toll's bigger than they're letting on, and they're welding some of the people's doors shut and all sorts of stuff like that.
Dude, if we were to block out any names, or if you could block out the names or whatever and just send the text, would you be able to send that?
I'll copy the text. I'll just copy and paste the text. It won't show any names anyway. So
we've got somebody that's been looking at the actual quality of the air above China and the CO2 emissions and stuff. There's certain emissions that they've just massively increased because obviously what they're doing is they're burning a lot of stuff, they're incinerating, and it's what we're speculating is what we're speculating about is what they're actually incinerating, their reasons for incinerating.
But if you're asking me what I think to it all, Rich, I mean, in all honesty, it's the same thing that I think to a lot of things that's happening in the news. I think how much of it is believable.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there isn't something there, because there's definitely something there. But what I'm saying is
the story, the narrative, how much of the narrative that
exactly, and that's the thing. It's always, we always hear a little bit of the story. We always get that we get the tidbit of the story, but we don't get into the nitty gritty. And it probably is.
What are your thoughts about? Because I mean, if you think about it, what would be the best way for them to implement an international martial law? Yeah.
I'm not going to hold my hand up and say I think this 100% because I can't. But I don't trust anything. I don't trust anything that's in the media. I definitely don't trust governments. I think there's a lot of nasty people out there that, probably do want to try and control us. Well, they are controlling us. We are being controlled. We're being controlled just by money. Money controls everybody.
Can I ask you, have you heard of the Q movement? QAnon.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never got involved in it.
And what are your thoughts on Trump?
I said before, Rich, I don't get involved in politics, but I don't think his hair's real.
Do you think that he's real? Do you think that if I know you don't get involved in politics, but you understand that politicians are just puppets, you understand that.
So, okay, coming from somebody who's into space, the whole space movement that I've seen him speak about, there was a very interesting it was a very interesting conference where he was talking about what we were going to do and how we were going to venture out into space. And there's Buzz Aldrin next to him, and it's on my channel. I did a music video on this. I'll send you it after this. Buzz Aldrin just keeps looking at Donald Trump, every word that comes out of his mouth, and laughing. And it just made me think,
but have you seen the interview with Buzz and the 6-year-old girl or 9-year-old or whatever she was?
I've done a video about that as well.
What did you think about that?
In all honesty, I think he didn't mean that. The way that sounded, I think he was saying because we haven't been back.
Do you know what I think he was saying? I know what
you
I think even in that moment, I think he was going because we've never been there. That makes sense. That's why we've never been back, because we never went there. I was only an actor portraying it. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought that we were really going there, and I was just the face of it because the person that was really going there isn't any good on camera. And I was the personality that could be on camera, and I was happy to do that. And I didn't feel I was deceiving anybody, because really the real guy was really going and doing it. But he's come to realise since then, he never sent anybody to the bloody moon. This was just a big scam. I've been made to look like an absolute dickhead. Sorry. Oh no, it's my channel now. I've been made to look like an absolute dickhead. And, you know, it's the realisation.
When it comes to stuff with space, because I've always been into space, you know, a massive, I've got space films coming out of my eyeballs. You know, if anything's on space, I'll watch it. Apart from the new Star Trek, because it's shit. Do I think there's a lot of cover-ups? Yeah, I do. Do I think we went to the moon? I do. Do I think Stanley Kubrick may have had a dabbled into it? Have I seen Room 237? Yes, I've seen Room 237. Have I seen The Shining? Yes, I've seen The Shining. Say that again, sorry?
Anything happened on the way to the moon? You've seen that?
Is that a film?
It's the footage of Buzz Aldrin and the other guys on the shuttle as it was in orbit.
The documentary.
Earth, was it?
Yeah, I will have seen it.
Well, it's the one where they show that they actually, the portrayal of the Earth. They said they were saying they were 100 and something thousand miles away. I think.
Is it out of the window? And
Oh,
the
it was
out of the window shot is fake.
They turned the lights on, and you could see that it was just a window, and all you could see was the Earth. That's all you couldn't see, that the Earth was a ball. All you could see was the air, the clouds, the ground that was passing beneath. And because of the window and because of the thing that they put on it, when they switched all the lights off, it looked like a ball. It looked like a globe that they were a long way away from. That, I mean, that's real footage.
But that also says to me that they were up in space.
No, that says that they were hundreds of miles above the Earth's surface. That's all that says. Possibly not even hundreds of miles. But Elon Musk said it himself. The reason he created SpaceX was because he realized that we've never sent anybody further than 400 miles. We've never left low Earth.
So Elon Musk does not believe that we went to the moon?
No, Elon Musk knows that we've never left orbit while he's been alive. We've never left.
There's an interesting interview which I made a music video on that as well, which I'll send you the link to that, where Elon Musk gets a tear in his eye because Neil Armstrong, before he passed, was kind of speaking bad about SpaceX as the company. And Elon Musk is being interviewed by this guy, and he said, "It makes me sad because it's one of my idols." I can't remember the full interview, but I'll send you the link. I made a little music video on it, but it's interesting that you're saying that, because at the same time he got sad
because he wanted to believe that the moon that happened. He wanted to believe it. He wanted to believe that it was possible to send people to space, so he tried to prove it himself. What he's found is that it's impossible to send one of his rockets higher than low Earth orbit. All of his rockets, all of this thing about rockets, they're coming back down and landing again. Really? There are people actually buying it that rockets can do that.
Rockets can definitely do that. They definitely can come down, you know.
Physically been there and seen one do it.
I've seen a guy that made one, himself. This is just a normal YouTuber that made a rocket vertically, you know, land that way.
How big was that rocket?
It was tiny. It wasn't as big as them.
Yeah.
It's a small little thing.
The thing is, when you scale things up, things change. Like I don't buy it. I personally think it's 100% CGI, absolute total CGI, right? And the space car that he said that they sent to space, that he is quoted, he's on camera saying it was just a bog standard car straight off the factory belt. There was no modifications, nothing was changed, nothing was different. Very specific about saying that, and people are believing that these inflated tires that inflated to 2.2 bar each, or 32 psi, which is the average inflation, isn't it, for a tire, that's gone out into space and is now in a perfect vacuum, being held there just by this rubber, and it's those tires haven't exploded.
Well, they might have done.
No, but they didn't. They didn't explode.
Maybe not straight away.
No, they would have exploded straight away, dude. And also, how do you explain a near perfect vacuum? How do you explain all the pressures contained on Earth when there's no membrane? When it's impossible for us to create a near perfect vacuum on Earth. We're only able to create the vacuum down to, I forget what the figures are, but we can only do a vacuum to so much, right? And it's like a tenth of the vacuum of space, right? If we were to put those tires and just put them out into the vacuum that we create, those tires would explode. And also, you can't create those vacuums without, if you look on the vacuum chambers, they're feet, like 40, 30 foot thick walls or something, concrete and steel and titanium and everything to be, and that's just to create this vacuum that's not even a tenth of what the vacuum of space is.
Yeah.
And they haven't even tested the spacesuits in those vacuums. Did you know that? They've not even tested the spacesuits in those vacuums. Those spacesuits have only ever been tested underwater. Did you know that?
Well, you've got to ask yourself this thing as well. Why would they tell you all this?
This is what I said to you, isn't it? To steal your perception. The most valuable thing that you own next to your time is your perception.
So, I mean, if Elon Musk doesn't believe that they can get past lower Earth orbit, he wants to take there's that Chinese guy that's paid a load of money to go round the moon on the shuttle that he's making, Starship. So if Elon Musk,
probably what Elon Musk is doing is trying to devise some way, I'd imagine, to get this guy into simulation. It's going to make him think he's going around the moon.
So you're saying Elon Musk is in on it?
Elon Musk is full of. He's absolutely full of it. Elon Musk is a puppet. He's a tour guide. He's somebody that's been given this title and this responsibility to be the face of. I've never seen anybody that looks so uncomfortable in their own skin as Elon Musk when he's being interviewed. Do you know the only time I saw him actually looking like a normal human being was when he got stoned on Joe Rogan's channel?
So, I don't think he was stoned, to be fair. I don't even think he took it back properly.
He was, because I saw a notable change in his character. The guy loosened up and actually... He loosened up and seemed like a normal.
He lost a few shareholders.
That was the idea, dude, because he knew that he wasn't going to be. That he was being. His position was being changed.
So is Joe Rogan in on this?
Joe Rogan's a useful idiot. He's making a lot of money, and his ego has been to a huge size. The guy is totally ego driven. He's not in touch.
Well, I mean, I like Joe Rogan. He's entertaining. But Joe Rogan didn't think we went to the moon for a long time. But then he started to believe in it again.
Yeah, because basically somebody paid him enough money and gave him enough of what he wants. There's a lot about Joe Rogan that people don't believe and don't appreciate, don't know. I think Owen Benjamin can tell you a lot about Joe Rogan. Do you know Owen Benjamin?
I don't know.
Oh, mate, please go check out Owen Benjamin. Everybody go and check out Owen Benjamin. Owen Benjamin is got an echo. What's that?
It's just one thing, Rich. When you looking for this video again, I don't know if it's your camera or what, but I did a video on my channel a long time ago where there was something moving in my background. Subscribers started to notice these things flashing, and I've noticed them a few times when you're talking. And it's not dust particles, but there is things flashing that zoom past you behind you quite fast. It looks like orbs.
That'll be flies, mate.
Oh, okay.
That'll be
explain
flies. Yeah, there's a couple of flies.
See, this is why I like you, because I know you're honest. Because anybody that wasn't honest would say, oh yeah, they're fucking visiting me all the time. Rich, I am going to have to shoot off because my missus is on her way back now.
48 minutes.
All right, mate.
Dude, thank you very much.
Catch you later, mate.
See you later, dude.
Reporting to you with no bias. Informing you with no exceptions. Nothing but the facts. Let's get the truth together. We the people. We the voice. We are the news now.
Reporting to you with no bias. Informing you with no exceptions. Nothing but the facts. Let's get the truth together. We the people. We the voice. We are the news now.
Right, so I'm here with Jin CBR1, who's over there in Japan, and we're going to talk a little bit about what is going to be coming over the next few months and weeks within Jin's country and what the climate situation is with him and the current lockdown situation that's going on internationally just now. Jin, thank you so much for joining me. I know it's not the daytime where you are. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon for me, about 11 for you?
Yes,
right?
That's correct. It's about 11.
Yeah.
It's 11 p.m. So this net, Imawa, konnichiwa minasan. Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody over there. Yes, it's the 11, just gone 11 p.m. here in Japan. We had a nice day weather-wise. It was nice and sunny and that. Coming up towards the end of winter, spring weather's coming, so it's looking good.
Cool. Despite what the mainstream media is putting out, how are things for you and your local area where you live? Are you still able to freely move around? Are you still able to go out? What's the situation where you are?
Okay, we'll start like this. Now, Shinzo Abe, he's the Prime Minister of Japan, has now brought in unprecedented steps. In the 20 years I've been here, it's never happened before. And what it is as of Thursday, no South Korean national will be allowed to enter the country. Okay?
So can I just confirm, did you just say as of Thursday, no South Korean nationals will be allowed into the country?
That's right. That's correct. That's what they've just said. Okay.
Right.
Because at the moment, 1,200 people in South Korea have been affected by the virus, and the government here in Japan is concerned about that. So that they're trying to control the virus and it's spreading. So they don't want anyone from South Korea coming into the country. That's the first step. That's coming in on Thursday. Tomorrow, my time, the day after tomorrow, your time. Okay?
Okay.
Then what they've also done is they're now making steps to reduce public gatherings in Japan. So things like national events and school sports events are being curtailed, being delayed or being cancelled, being delayed for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I
Okay?
can confirm that, Jin. The government is going to ask organisers of big support and cultural events due to take place over the next 2 weeks to consider definitely cancelling and postponing them during what is seen as a critical time for Japan to stem the rise in the apparent coronavirus infection. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said on Wednesday. So yeah, that's been
Right.
confirmed.
Right. So that's what they're saying here at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
About 860 people have been infected here in Japan so far, they say. And
Right.
out of that 800, 700 of them came from that ship, the Diamond Princess, that was moored in Yokohama. Okay.
Right.
We've
Right.
had
Because
one death.
they're allowing people off of that ship, aren't they? But yeah, they're letting people disembark off that ship. And just as we're talking, can you give the viewers that are listening, because we definitely want this to be bipartisan, even though you know this is what they're reporting, do you personally, what's your personal, because this is the one thing that the mainstream media won't do. They will just regurgitate lines and not give their, their personal ethos and things. What can you give us your stance on what you actually feel the validity is to the virus? Do you feel there's any validity to the virus?
Well, no, I don't feel there's any validity to the virus at all. I feel that it's a practice for how to lock down your country. That's all it is for me. That's the number one alarm bell that's ringing in my head, in my feelings. Okay,
So, like
because
many others, you feel the virus isn't legit, but the lockdown
no,
that's coming is.
no, exactly. Because we went through the SARS virus.
Mhm.
Everyone was panicking, going around buying masks. Shops sold out of masks and sanitary cleaning liquids for your hands and that. You know what I mean? Everyone panicked. I didn't. So that's what I feel. People are buying masks.
Mhm.
They're getting on with their lives as usual, as
Mhm.
normal, but they are concerned. The people I've spoke to in my neighborhood, they're all concerned. They
Yeah.
don't like China. Why is it always China, they're saying, and
Well,
things
I
like
mean,
that.
it's a self-evident truth that your prime minister has asked big event organisers to mull cancellations for the next 2 weeks, at least
Yeah,
the next week. So that's self-evident truth there. That is definitely happening. I know
yeah.
that my dad has actually got a tour planned for Japan. My dad is also looking to go to Osaka as well, and I'm not sure if that's
Right.
going to be affected. They've got a concerts to go and do in Japan in March. So we'll
Oh, right.
see.
Oh, wow,
Uh,
wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen there, but
so,
uh, I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks things would have calmed down a little bit with all this scaremongering. But we wait and see. But another snippet that you might be interested in is that the public health centres are refusing to test people suspected with the virus, though. So if you're going in and you say, I think I've got the virus, they won't test you.
Right. So what do you reckon? I mean, because I personally don't feel the virus is what we're being told. I do feel the lockdown that's coming is coming because there's a lot of people that do need to be removed, people that's that are to do with the cabal. So
Yeah.
personally, for me, I feel that they need to remove deep state individuals out of said countries. So the lockdown is inevitable, whether we like it or not. The lockdown is going to.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, Japan has got its own little lockdown going on. I mean, they're stopping the Koreans from coming in. They're
Mhm,
stopping events going on. So they're
mhm.
practicing, aren't they? They're practicing. And
Don't
this
feel.
is unprecedented, by the way. It's never
Yeah.
happened before. Never
Yeah.
happened before. Yeah.
Jin,
Never happened before.
what are your thoughts on the Olympics? Do you feel that this lockdown is going to affect the country's ability to hold the Olympics?
Okay. Well, the Australian head of the IOA said that if by April things are not in control, they may look to cancel. Okay, which worried the Japanese organizers of the Olympics because they've put a lot of work in getting it ready. Even the Tokyo Marathon that would normally happen, they've moved it to Hokkaido because it's cooler up there in order to cater for the athletes. Much to the great disappointment to the people who live in the Tokyo area. It's always happened, the Tokyo Marathon, okay, for the Olympics. So that's what they're saying. They may cancel it. It's on the card, a decision. But the Japanese officials, Olympic officials, are very worried and a little bit upset to hear that because they've put a lot of work. Japan wants it to go ahead, okay? Japan wants it to go ahead and they're going full steam ahead with it. They're not looking at stopping, okay? That's all I can say for now. They
Right.
just
So
want to
we'll,
get it over and done with. They want to do it. A lot of businesses have been set up. People have worked hard. They don't want to cancel it.
so what this is one that we're just going to have to see what happens with this over the next few weeks. We're just going to have to
Yes.
see how this pans out, and see whether they do look to cancel the Olympics, or like you said, if they're looking to go full steam ahead. At the
Yeah.
moment, there's so much international travel being restricted due to countries not taking individuals from certain countries because of the border issues.
Right. I mean, look at
What
that. I mean, they blocked Korea. Never heard that in my life. No Koreans can come in for the next 2 weeks.
that's a lot. That's a
That's
lot.
a lot, isn't it?
It's a
2
lot of things
weeks.
that are being affected. It is a lot of things that are being affected.
A little ray of sunshine for those who are worried. Foreigners who are in Japan, okay,
Yeah.
and foreigners who live in Japan, certain prefectures are offering 24-hour consultant telephone calls, 24-hour for free. So if you feel you've got some symptoms and you don't know what to do, you can ring them up, and they're offering like 18 different languages, free service.
We're doing the same in this country as well. They're giving people advice that if they're showing symptoms. I feel that this is just all part of the hype to reiterate, like the globe. It's real. It's real. It's all real.
Yes,
Real,
that's
real, real.
right.
And I think Uncle Sam is just going to ramp up with the propaganda videos. If there's any shadow of a doubt about people not thinking this is real, the propaganda videos will start getting rolled out,
Got to
and they'll
go
just
through the motions to
yeah,
make it look real. They have to go through the motions, don't they? Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they've rolled it out nicely. Am I going to eat that? No, I'm not. I don't believe the virus is real. It's rubbish. You know what I mean? You know.
The deep
And
state
if you look at where Wuhan is, it's right in the middle of China. Okay, it's right in the middle. Bang on. So if you are going to have a virus, it's going to affect everyone very quickly from the center, spreading out. The same with the Ebola virus. If you look at where the Ebola virus was detected, which I believe is a man-made disease, it was in the Congos, 1976, right in Central Africa, and it can spread quickly everywhere. Okay? So it's a practice. They're practicing. Something's coming over the horizon, for all we know. Okay?
Well, I'll give you a couple of interesting ones that have come out in the last few minutes regarding Antarctica, if you're interested.
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, so I will just give you those now. We're going to go and grab those. So apparently Antarctica's ice is turning blood red. And for the viewers that are watching this, I will back this up with some images and some citations. I'm on euronews.com, where it says, what caused Antarctica's ice to turn blood red?
Thank you very much.
Ukrainian, of all scientists, of all of the countries internationally, Ukraine is mentioned in the first line. Ukrainian scientists get a shock when they woke up on Monday to find that the snow around their station had turned blood red. But rather than being anything sinister, because obviously it's nothing sinister, the first thing, it's almost like, don't look. It's nothing to see here. It's nothing sinister.
Right.
The red tint in the snow is simply caused by the microscopic algae that's there, basically. The algae flushes and flourishes in the snow when the weather's good. Ukraine's Minister of Education and Science explained in a Facebook post, which I will share for you all on your screens now. Despite the weather, the spread of the algae contributes to the climate change, scientists said. It reflects less sunlight than when it's white, and therefore it melts faster. Only colder temperatures can render the algae dormant. So this is one of those things that makes me go,
Silly.
I'm not quite sure I'm buying into that, if will. So another one I've got for you on that one is it's also near a former British research station. Again, I will put my images up here. The images that you're seeing now is red snow near the research station in Antarctica. And the picture is courtesy of the Ministry of Science to Ukraine.
Thank you.
Yeah. The research base is located at Marina Point on the Galindez Island of the Argentine Islands, used to be owned by the British, but was sold to Ukraine. It was sold to Ukraine for a token of £1 in 1996. It's now home to the Ukrainian National Scientific Center in Antarctica, which says that the red color is just produced by an algae, everybody. It's nothing to worry about. It's just an algae. But we call it watermelon snow or blood snow. LOL.
Is it a natural phenomenon? Is it a natural phenomenon? Yeah.
That's what they're stating. Yeah, that's what they're stating,
Right.
that it's nothing to worry about, that it's just an algae type of snow that just so happens to turn blood red. And as they say, you know, they even call it blood snow.
Right. Okay.
And
So-
you can decide for yourself. The links for all of that will be in the description as usual, so that you can go and see the source material and where we got all the images for that we just showed you there as well. For me personally, I think something's to be said for that. It's also the only continent that doesn't apparently have a COVID-19 issue.
Right. Wow.
And it happens to be turning blood red.
Blood red. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Again,
So, you know, the global warming mob will try and we'll get out of that, you know, global warming, climate change.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
we have to
That'll
be
be another
careful,
night.
folks, because the climate is not changing. It changes naturally. There is no global warming. It's all a hoax.
So again, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on the situation with the borders as well, and also with the issue with the Japan. There's a lot of reports coming out saying Japan may not be able to handle if this carries on.
They're doing a good job already. The government's already started to say to the public, you know, you may not have your public events this year because of the coronavirus. Okay. And the Japanese people are like robots, so they'll easily follow that. They're very hygienic people, so they'll have that under control. If there was a virus, it's not going to spread that quickly here. They're very trusting in their government. Everyone's going on life as normal.
That's
yes,
good.
They're concerned, but they're just getting on with it.
Good. So right now, everything's tickety-boo. Everything is fine.
Tickety-boo, nothing to report. Not bad. You can go anywhere. Nothing. No extra police on the streets. None of that. Nothing.
Brilliant.
Nothing. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, we'll wrap up this segment and we'll come back to you again in a few days' time and we'll get an update of what's going on and see if there's any change of the situation. And again, thank you, my darling. This has been...
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Roxanne. Look forward to speaking to you again soon. Yeah. Excellent.
Wonderful.
Stay
Everybody,
fit, people. Just stay fit. That's all. Look after your health.
can you let us know your online name and where you're reporting from?
Okay. So my online name is JinCBR1 and I'm in Japan.
Perfect. Thank you so much, my darling.
Reporting to you with no bias. Informing you with no exceptions. Nothing but the facts. Let's get the truth together. We the people. We the voice. We are the news now.